This is Not the Average Real Estate Podcast by Not Your Average Real Estate Investor. Dymphna Boholt used real estate investing strategies to completely replace the income from her accountancy practice with passive income in just 18 months and has since taught thousands of others to do the same. Welcome to the I Love Real Estate Podcast.
So welcome everybody to today's podcast. I have a very special guest for you today, and somebody that I think you're all going to really enjoy the story, because he started from practically nothing. In fact, minus $20 was actually what he started with, and has gone through to buying, I think it's 6 properties in the space of a couple of years. And, you know, a lot of people don't think that that stuff's possible. A lot of people think that, you know, you've got to have X amount of dollars in order to be able to start in real estate. And I think my guest today is someone who really proves the fact that it is about the education. It's about what you know and how you apply that knowledge, as opposed to how much money you've got in the bank. You know, all those old adages about you've got to have money to make money. This man, he just blows it out of the water. So without further ado, let's welcome him in. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Very well, thanks, Dymphna. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well. It
Awesome.
all gets very confusing with the Michael, and Michaels.
It does, doesn't it?
But Michael May.
Yes, the month of May.
The month of May, that's exactly right. So I'm going to go back to your study. When you first decided on a career, what did you decide on?
So when I first started, being an Asian background, the parents always want to study hard, get good grades, wanted me to go into a medical degree. So I became a radiation therapist. So I treated people with cancer using X-rays.
So that must be a pretty tough profession.
It is. They call us moles. What that means is that usually the bunkers are about they're the basement level, because the radiation is mega voltage, so they're very high intensity. So they have what's called a maze, and if there's a gate in front of the maze, if you put your hand through the maze, that's where your hand will be irradiated with radiation. So it has to be very, very careful where it is. So we don't see daylight. We go in dark in winter, and we come out dark in winter. So that's why we call it.
Wow. So, okay, you did what your parents wanted you to do, which is the case for a lot of people. You know, we, at the age of 17 or 18 or whatever it is, when we're venturing off to decide on what we're going to do for the rest of our lives, most of us got no idea at all, or what our passions are, and we get persuaded by our parents. So typical kind of start there, but it must have been pretty horrific, I suppose, dealing constantly with not only radiation, but cancer patients.
That's right. Look, my last stint was in pediatrics.
Oh.
So that's where I treated children with cancer, and it is tough because you deal with it every day. So a course of radiation therapy goes for 30 days. So you see them every single day. It's usually about the same time. They don't want the children to see new people all the time. So you kind of be there.
So
and,
you get to know them.
You get to know them, and it's a tough call when the nurses come in and say, "Oh, one of the students or one of the patients you're with didn't make it," and that's where it does get to you. Yeah.
So you decided to leave that career.
Yes.
That's a big call, you know, to leave what you've just spent years and years studying to become. How'd your parents react to that?
Well, my mum was supportive of me because she saw the amount of stress I've gone through. But I haven't told many people, but she doesn't like me going to properties. So I had to have a tough time to actually separate from my mother for a while to go into properties. Coming from a communist country, she's gone through that period where their government took everything from them. So that's why she's always scared about property, you know, hide money in the bank, hide gold bars, things like that. So it was that period that is actually tougher when I'm going to property.
And it's funny, you know, here in Australia, we all aspire to own lots of property and be property investors and all this kind of stuff, but it's actually not the same around the world. I mean, I know in America, I spent a lot of time over there, and you know, property property owners, property landlords are the lowest rung of the rich.
Yes.
They're the scum of the rich.
That's
Nobody
right.
wants to be a landlord.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So it's very interesting when you start looking at the different attitudes around the world, on property. So I totally get that. So you had a bit of a false start. From there, you went into broking.
Yes. Became a mortgage. I thought that because the mortgage broking business, they have what's called a trail commission. So I thought, great way to build up a passive income when you build up the book and things like that. Back when I started to go into mortgage broking, there wasn't a course per se. So you get your diploma, but you need to be with a mortgage broker for 2 years. So I thought I found the right broker. He was a good salesman. He was good at what he does. So I followed him for 2 years, unpaid, but unfortunately he wasn't qualified. So I couldn't become a mortgage broker through that whole process.
Okay, so you had a false start. Now, I just want to deal with that too, because for a lot of people, particularly men, who go into business and then it doesn't work out the way they want it to, often carry that burden with them into the next thing. And they allow that baggage to actually hold them back. So how did you keep your head in the right spot?
So I looked back at that situation. I asked myself, look, did I really lose everything? I thought I actually gained more than I lose, because I learned how to be one, to assess people a bit more carefully. That was a good lesson. I looked at and just took the lessons out of that process. So one of them was, yes, I learned a lot. I learned how to do sales, marketing, a lot of IT type stuff. So those are things that was really helpful to me. So I think from that, taking lessons out of of a bad situation definitely helps you grow and move on next.
Yeah, and I think it's a lesson for everybody to really understand that you do need to keep your head in the right spot. Stuff happens. You can't control the outcome all the time, and we make mistakes. We do. Everybody makes mistakes. It's a matter of learning from those mistakes and not repeating them.
That's right. That's right. 100%.
So then what happened? You realised that you can't become a mortgage broker unless you go and do 2 years with somebody else. What did you do?
So I started looking online like everyone else does. So I searched, and there came Dymphna's ad, go in and spend some time with us. So I went to the 2-day event that you had, the 1-day event.
I remember that one.
Yep. So I went to that.
Yep.
So I went to the 1-day, 2-day event. So from the 2-day event, so I just need to pause there for a moment. I'm just going to get rid of the dog so that it doesn't bark.
That's yours, is it?
Yes, yep. Hang on a sec, I'll be back.
The dog in the background.
It's all right. I had a daughter in the background a little while ago.
Yep.
Me and making a racket.
Really? Hey, we just had a very interesting, I did the orientation webinar today.
Yep.
And there was a girl, Ebony, who was on. She bought her first property when she was 18. She's now 24 and she has 3 properties.
Right.
And she's just convinced her boyfriend to purchase his first property, and she just joined up over the weekend.
Yay.
Yeah, I know. So,
very good.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. So, yeah.
Very good. Hey, Michael and Sarah, do you just want to come on for a minute while I'm waiting for Michael May to come back? Or it looks like he's coming back.
We're
now.
on audio. I just unmuted ourselves.
Anything specific you'd like me to bring out about you guys?
Oh, look, we can go through the usual variation on amount of strategies that we've done over the years. You can even go through when we joined the program, the initial program, how we came about joining that program. You can go along
movement out here to Australia. Why you came here?
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what, property ownership is not the same in the UK, as I'm sure you know, as it is here. And there are not the investors there, or certainly there weren't, 20 odd years ago when we left.
It's actually a cash flow haven at the moment, is UK. It's big yields, lots of renovation stuff going on. So it's a very different market to this one.
But look, we're happy to just go through a little bit the same, if you like.
Yeah, bit of a go with the flow.
kinds of deals we've done, etc.
Yeah.
Etc.
Cool. All right. Back to Michael May. I just muted you. Okay, Michael.
Yeah, so I went to one of your 2 days, 1 day event or 2 day event. And yeah, so started learning the process. I didn't have money then to go because by that stage I was broke, no job, lost all my equity because I was in the business. So my
your parents wouldn't
partner,
have been too happy with you by now.
no, they said, "Oh, see, well, I told you, don't go into business, don't do this. We were right," and things like that. I still felt that I had a better future if I continued my path. Yeah.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, you didn't even have money to get the train ride in or lunch when you came to my event.
That's right. So my girlfriend was working full time then, so she was basically supporting me through that whole journey. She believed in me, so she gave me $20 so that I can go in and catch a train and buy some lunch.
Your pocket money.
My pocket money. That's right, coming from a girlfriend, and that is a very bad period for us as well because we grew up being saying we should be providers as men, and there was the other way around when she was providing for me. So.
Yeah, and once again, that's a head thing. And being able to deal with that, particularly with the male ego and all of that kind of thing.
Yes, I guess it spurred me on more, saying I need to return the favour.
Okay, so you came to the event. What made you decide to sign up?
Yeah, so I have been to your previous 1 day event as well, and that was I knew that was the right thing to do. So going to the second day, I didn't want to be intro surfer, so I just felt it was right. So lunchtime, he said, you need to make a decision, and I believed everything you've said about property. I know in my heart that positive cash flow is the way to go. So that's where I said, yep, I need to sign up.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happened? Because you weren't working, which means you had time. You had time on your hands.
That's right.
So did you treat it like university and go hard?
Yes, yeah, I went hard as hard as I could. So when I joined the program, I didn't have money, so I had to call my girlfriend up to get her credit card details to pay for it, and I didn't have money to pay her back. So I had to take on any jobs that's available, any casual jobs, just to pay back the interest.
Did she join with you or not?
No, it was just by myself. It's something that she's not interested in. She has other things that she's interested in. So I decided to go, yep, I'll do it myself. And go. So I joined, I convinced her to lend me the money for the course. I joined, started taking up casual jobs. As part of the program, you talk about getting market ready. And being market ready means that I have the capacity to borrow again. So that's where I got myself to become a car salesman. So it didn't require a lot of education. It was good pay. So yeah, I got my job as a car salesman to get myself market ready.
Okay. And that then paid for your course as well?
That's right. So during the time, pay off a lot faster. It took me about 6 months because of the probationary period, things like that. So it took me 6 months to get market ready.
And you were starting from a low base too.
Yeah.
So, okay, you did 6 deals, wasn't it, in 2 years?
That's right.
That's a lot of deals.
It is. I loved it. The whole process it was really enjoyable. So basically, I didn't have much time now when I'm becoming a car salesman. So the education comes from the trip. Every day I drive into work. It's about a 40-minute drive. So I got an opportunity to put on the CD and start listening to your program.
Back in the CD days, yep.
Back in the CD days, yeah. It was valuable.
Yeah. Okay. So that obviously that every day to backwards and forwards in the car.
Yep.
It's the education, but it's also keeping your head in the right spot.
That's right, definitely.
Focused on the end goal as opposed to focused on the pain.
That's right, exactly. So it just kept me going. And even at work was long hours.
Yeah.
You start about 8 o'clock to open up and you don't finish until the last customer leaves the showroom. And it could be 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock at night. And then another 40-minute drive. So definitely, then you got family things. So you always have to try and fit it in.
Yeah. So what did you do first?
My first deal was a regional deal. So I used grid variance analysis, as you to look at areas that had good potential. So I found an area that purchase price was around under 150,000. So I could technically afford it. So that's where I did a joint venture with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I borrowed $100,000 from her, but I did everything correctly. Have an agreement in place. I didn't have a lot of money, so I went to Justice of Peace. Signed the agreement. It's still legally binding. So yeah, definitely, and put everything under her control first.
Yeah. Okay.
Trust under her control first.
So what was that first deal? What sort of strategy was it?
It was regional cheapy with a bit of cash flow, with the potential to subdivide or renovate to increase the uplift.
Okay, great. So manufactured growth as well as, the income as well. And that's a great thing about doing regional first, is it gives you that easy entry point. And whether you sell it or you don't, it's going to be positive for you. So it's sort of like very limited downside on it.
That's right, exactly.
But the growth obviously is what you make out of it, not just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah. So back then, if I had to do it again, I'll do my education properly. We didn't have the Get Started Now system that you and the guys have built up. So if I had that now, I think I'll be much better.
Yeah.
So obviously you make mistakes on the way.
But is it a mistake, or is it just the way things turned out? Because the deal obviously isn't a mistake.
No.
There might have been other ways or other things that you could have done that would have accelerated you quicker, faster, but it wasn't a mistake.
No, it wasn't a mistake.
No.
I think you are your own worst critic. So I think that's generally the case. And I think something that I need to do more often is actually reach out to the coaches. And that's what I did do when I was a student.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So, okay. So that got you going a little bit. Then what happened?
The next deal I did was a student accommodation. It was go for a cash flow. So that one had a bit more deposit, but from my first deal, getting my foot into the deal allowed me to draw down some equity from that property to go into my second deal. And I think, thank God it did happen, because the first deal was slightly cash positive. And the second deal was really cash flow positive. And then tragedy struck. My girlfriend got diagnosed with brain tumor.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So during that period of time, she can't work. So now it's on me to work full time to pay her back.
Okay.
So it was thankful that it was positive cash flow, because now we lost the income from my girlfriend. It's still.
So how much was the first deal positive?
It wasn't a lot, so it was only like $20 or so positive each. Each
so not
week.
a lot.
Not a lot.
But you made some money out of the manufactured growth.
Made some money out of the manufactured growth.
And what about the second deal? How positive was that?
That was about $200 per week positive.
Okay, so $10,000 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, well that would be helping.
That's right. It helped a lot.
So what happened next then? Well, what happened with your girlfriend, etc.?
Yeah, so she went through surgery. So I had to put things on hold for a little bit until she gets back on her feet. But our third deal was our PPR deal. So that was a bit easy to get the loan into, because it's a PPR.
Yep.
That was the strategy behind that is, again, manufactured growth, quick innovation, increase the uplift, big land at the back, so it's going to be subdivision potential.
Great, very good. So you're really following the process, stacking deals and all of those sort of things. Then what happened?
The fourth deal is a residential commercial. There's commercial shop front with residential at the back. With that, it was quite a big land, so it's corner block. The idea behind that is future proofing. In case I need anything, I can knock it down and rebuild, or I can convert it into childcare as well. So there was different plans with that one. It was initially a residential lease, which means I had to pay all outgoings and things like that. So that would make it slightly negative. So then I went and converted it into a commercial lease, and that will allow it to be neutral, not quite positive, neutral, but there was a lot of potential in that one.
Great. Okay. And obviously, the ability to be able to childcare and all the rest of it, lots of upside down the track. Then what? Then
I went and found another regional cheapie. That one was a big land size, about 1,000 meter square, negative slope in a country region. The house was actually right smack in the middle, up the front. So either way, you can do a subdivision at the back, a hatchet block, or type of situation, battle axe. So with that one, that is negative. It's only $135,000 as a purchase price.
Really cheap.
The rental, yeah, really cheap. The rental with that is $180 a week, so it's not too bad. To keep it as a slightly neutral. Still waiting for that place. It's not the right place to develop at this stage, but because being that low cost, I could afford to wait.
Okay.
Yep.
And the last one in that 2-year period.
Then the next one with that is vendor finance, one of my favorite deal.
Okay.
So this deal was where I did reverse analysis to analyze the right location. I have chose a location. And it just so happens the universe delivers somehow, where
Try telling that to your Chinese parents.
Exactly. Well, just somehow it just seemed to work. So I didn't think anything of it. I was looking at the right property that I want, like writing it down what I want in the area that I want. And I went to a gathering, get together, and it was my friend's brother. And he started saying that he was struggling in the area and couldn't pay the property back. And I learned about different strategies with rooming houses, cash flow. And I said, look, why not do that for your property? It doesn't cost a lot of money to do it. He just said, no, I just want out. It's a struggle. So I tried to help him first, but it didn't work out. So I said, look, what have you been offered? His loan is $400,000. So the banks, the person who got the mortgage for him actually did a bit of dodgy. So that so it's stressful for him. So everyone else that he tried to sell it to, we were offering about $350, $380. So even if he sold it, he'll have a debt. So look, I'm happy to offer you $450 for the place. I just want a period of time to pay you back. So I offered a 10-year option on that deal. So I can pay him back within 10 years and take over the loan. So it worked out really well. And
so it's a lease option, or it's a full vendor finance, or is it a deposit finance?
Yeah, so it's it is a vendor finance. So I took over his mortgage.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And then allowed him to walk away from the deal, basically.
Okay. And you got 10 years to pay him the rest of the money.
Exactly.
If there is any sort of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's already grown within 2 years. Or 1 year, it went by $200,000 anyway. So I could sell it and then, give him the money. But it's a great area that I decided to keep it. And,
Great, very good. And obviously you went on from there, but I really want to cover those first couple of years because people think that, you need money to get started. And I guess, you're proof that you don't. Tell me how you then ended up at Knowledge Source.
Sure. So I was working still as a car salesman. And one of the things that Knowledge Source like to do is they want to hire people from the community because you know what you're doing. You can
the product. Yeah,
exactly. And I believe in it. I love the product. So definitely
work for you.
Exactly, work for me. So yeah, couldn't be happier. So definitely that's where I applied. And again, the universe delivers in strange ways.
Fantastic. And we took you on as an ultimate coach.
Yes.
So how do you find working with students?
I love it. It's something I wouldn't change. I guess I never
must
wrote
be a little bit more gratifying than working with dying kids.
Yes. Definitely I can see the other side. So I still want to help the children down the track. Yeah. So I think by being able to keep myself financially free and stable will give me the opportunities to do things that I really want.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. So you answer the phone to all the students and you send them out emails and answer all their questions and all of those sort of things.
Yes.
Do you get any curly ones?
Occasionally there are some curly ones, but I think all the students have been great. You just need to walk them through the get started now, the process. It's much more focused now, more defined. So definitely, I think it's an easier process for them just to go through it step by step.
Excellent. So what advice would you give to someone either just starting out or perhaps somebody even new who, friends of a student who are considering whether they should do I Love Real Estate or not? What would your advice be?
Join. Definitely become a student. You got a lot of support, a lot of community assisting you. helping along the way. There's a lot of growth, which is great. I've been a uni graduate, so I know what it's like to stay in uni, and once you finish, that's it. You probably go back and ask your lecturers to support you. They say, join the course. No, exactly. So this is great. Yeah, this community is great. All I say is follow the process, follow the steps. You will get there. There's a reason why it's in there, because it works.
And what do your parents think now?
My parents, they're still iffy about property. I can't change them. I'm not trying to win the battle there or try to win the war. I just, help them with as much as I can. I know that my brother, I can help him if he needs it. So I got the process too. He can live with me or live in one of my properties. So definitely, I am in a better position to help them now. But I don't need to win the battle with them. It's family.
What if you got another brother? Have you got any other siblings?
I got 2 brothers. My middle brother, he's just purchased his first home recently, so he's happy with that.
And what's his career?
His career, he works in accounts with BMW. So debt collection.
Oh, yeah. And the other one?
The other one, he takes care of mum. Mum's got glaucoma, so she can't see, and so he's there taking after her, taking care of her.
Okay. Yeah. So the properties come in handy to be able to, as you said, support family.
That's right, definitely. Yeah, they've done well for themselves. I'm not in a rush. That's where I got too comfortable. But that's the way I can grow in the community now. So definitely. But I'm in a good position.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much for sharing your story and your journey, because there's a lot of, the emotional roller coaster, I think, is just as important as the actual deals that you end up doing, because it is about keeping your head in the right spot. And, you showed a lot of courage to stand up to parents and things and go, I don't want to do this anymore. And I want to do something that you're not going to like.
Yes, yeah.
But congratulations and good on you for doing all of that and growing your portfolio as you are.
Yes, thank you very much.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Michael, and I hope you guys all enjoyed Michael's story. I know I certainly did, and I think just hearing other people's stories is always a great way to to expand, to grow. You always see similarities in things in other people's stories and motivation in how they got through varying scenarios. Certainly better than listening to all the negative stuff on the news and the media. So once again, thank you, Michael, and thank you to everyone listening. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye now.